Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Vinyl Den, your channel for record collecting by record collectors. My name is Nick, and I know it's Sunday and it's supposed to be an episode with Ian and I, but unfortunately our schedules didn't work out so well this week. So I'm doing an episode. I'm going to torch you with just me by myself. But there was something we were going to talk about, and I figured it's something I can still talk about, and it's a topic that Ian and I have kind of gone back and forth on over the last couple of years. And that's whether or not to own multiple copies of the same album. As you can guess, we come down on different sides of it. You know, Ian really kind of sticks to, I think, kind of like the old school thinking when it comes to, you know, I've already have the album, I'm not going to buy it again. And I'm a little bit more on the side of, you know, if I really love an album, and I think it's a really great album, and there's multiple variants of it out there, sure, I'll pick it up. Or there's, you know, I love to get different pressings and kind of compare and see what one sounds different. The first one I'm going to talk about is one that it's a new album, and it's one that I picked up just because there's a couple of different variants. There's actually quite a few variants of this album, actually. And, you know, I have talked about it, I think, on a previous episode. But that is Taylor Swift's Folklore. So I wasn't a big fan of this album when it first came out. I don't think I really gave it a shot until, you know, later, probably in December last year. I really think it. I actually listened to it and I was like, hey, this is a really good album. And I wanted to get the Target exclusive, which I do have here. So this is the red Target exclusive. You look over my shoulder, there's another one of it up there. I have two of these because this was the one that came damaged. The whole corner of this thing was like bent up. So because it was damaged, of course, I wanted to get a different one. And of course, my wife gave me a little bit of grief for that. She's like, why are you buying the same album twice? But it was just because it was so badly damaged, the cover of it was, even though the album wasn't. I found another copy of it in the store, actually, and was able to grab that. But I do have I think this is the In the Weeds cover also. Which I think these aren't just variant colors, these are also variant album covers also. So this is like a turquoise kind of color. You can see it in the package there. But I don't know. It's one of those things that, like I said, if I really love the album, I don't see any harm in having multiple copies of it. You know, if there's different colors, or it's kind of the collectability, I think, especially with like this album. I know I gave it a lot of grief in the beginning because I want to say with the Target exclusive, I want to say there was 9 different versions of this. And I thought it was kind of overkill. I think the more I kind of thought about it, it's more, you know, it's kind of interesting because you can kind of fit different covers. If you don't really like a cover, I'm sure there's a different cover out there of the album that you do kind of connect with. And I loved all the different covers. I mean, all the different colors that they picked also. I think 9 is probably a little too much, but I'm definitely not against having several different variants. I guess I should say that I don't have a whole lot of albums that I've got multiples of. You know, maybe, I think Ian and I went through and counted them a while back, and I probably have maybe 15 or 18 albums that I've got multiples of. And I just picked out some of the different ones I've got. You know, obviously I don't want to pick out, I've got multiples, I think, of almost every Pink Floyd album. You know, every Blink-182 album I've got a black version and a color version of. And but this next one is one that it's an album that I loved since I first heard it way back in 2006. I think was I don't remember. I think it came out in 2006. I heard it in the winter, the end of 2006, and it you know, it's an album that I really loved, and I just recently found. So I'm talking about the Black Parade. Fantastic album. If you haven't heard it, it's definitely worth picking it up and listening to it, or listening to it on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever. I will say that Ian does not like this album. So it's definitely not an album for everyone, but it's one that I really loved. So I got the standard version of it, which I think the artwork on it, let's see if you can see it without the glare in my for my cover there, but the artwork on it is just absolutely beautiful. I believe it was the lead singer of the band that did all the artwork for this. And I love this album so much that I actually bought the picture disc version, which I am not a picture disc fan at all. These things tend to sound like garbage. You know, this one actually doesn't sound that bad, though. It's got the artwork on the front, and that's got the band on the back. So I want to say this. I think this is the only picture disc that I have. Actually, that's not true. I've got Green Day's Dookie that I've got the standard black version of in the picture disc. But I don't have a whole lot of picture discs. It's not something I really get into. But I definitely wanted that just because it's kind of a cool little like collectible kind of thing. So the next album I've got is another album that it's relatively new, the last couple of years. I want to say this came out in 2018, I believe. And this is one that I didn't really necessarily think of, or I didn't actually look for another version of it. And that's Greta Van Fleet's Anthem of the Peaceful Army. Great album. I know it's a really kind of polarizing kind of band. It's their new album is one that I'm definitely looking forward to in 2021. But I was kind of fine with the standard black version. And then I think it was Target did an exclusive on red that came out. I'm not sure when they had this, but I just picked this up just recently. And it's one that the pressings sound the same. I know there's some people out there that don't like colored vinyl. They say it's got a different sound to it. I've really come across that with a lot of really any of my colored vinyl. Any and I have talked about that before on the show that, I don't think sound wise there's really anything different. Because really, if you think about it, black vinyl is still colored vinyl because, if you watched the my episode from this past Thursday with the Jethro Tull Aqualung, that's what regular plain uncolored vinyl looks like. And and it wasn't black, so it's definitely like a clear kind of whitish kind of color. But anyway, fantastic album. It's another one that I just happened to come across another color of it and thought, why not? It's a great album at a decent price. The last three albums I have are ones that are different from the first ones I showed you. These three are all albums that really have like a significance to me. And that's why I really kind of went out to try to find any kind of different variant I could find. The first one is a band that I've really been a big fan of since the mid 90s. Actually, I'm wearing their sweatshirt right now. My wife just bought me this for Christmas, and that's MXPX. This is their self-titled album. Actually, this was the album that got me back into collecting vinyl a couple years back. They did a Kickstarter to raise money to record this album, and one of the things for the Kickstarter was you got the album on vinyl. So it was really this was the first album I pre-ordered. It was at this time I didn't have any records. I hadn't owned an album since I think when I moved out of my parents' house in '99. So this was, like I said, this is one that kind of got me back into it. I got this and was hooked, really. And actually, by the time I got this one in the mail, I probably had 30 or 40 albums. So this is the standard black version that came as part of the Kickstarter. And then they also had a yellow variant, which, has got a different cover on it. And if I can get the album out. It's just a standard yellow. It's like a translucent yellow. So I thought that was kind of cool. A little different. And then they were also having a limited edition. This is the limited edition. This one's actually signed by the band. And it actually comes with a flexi disc of the very first song that MXPX ever recorded. So that was kind of cool. And then this is also on like a yellow splatter. I don't know if you can see it really well through the... I guess I can take it out. Because this one actually has a really nice color to it. And that's kind of the thing that I look for with these colored variants is, if it looks cool. I'm definitely more interested in picking it up if it has a great color to it or great design to the color. I guess that's kind of where the collectability kind of comes into being a vinyl collector. So this next one is an album that, I think I have in my top 5 favorite albums of all time. I've been a huge fan of this band for a really long time. And that's Blink-182's self-titled album. This came out in 2003, I believe. Just a fantastic album. I think it's definitely their best work. And it's one that I had an opportunity to buy when I first got back into buying records. I could have bought a pink version of this, but I didn't want to spend the extra money for it. I was kind of like old school at that point. I just kind of wanted to buy the black version. That's what I grew up listening to, just the standard black records. So I passed up on the pink one, and I got the standard black one. And it's a great pressing. And then probably about, I don't know, 6 or 8 months later, I kind of got into buying different variants and kind of regretted not buying that pink variant. So I tracked one down online. It's a really great color. It's got the same cover. But it's just a pink, like a little bit of variation, a little lighter pink, some darker pinks in there. Just a pretty cool color. And then the third one I have from that was one that I didn't even know this variant existed. And someone posted a picture of it on Instagram, actually. And I was like, man, I got to find that because it looks pretty sweet. And that's like, each album is different colors, actually. The one disc of it is like a pink kind of starburst color. The other one's like this green. So it's kind of cool. I like it when they do a little something a little different there. So last album I have, I guess I couldn't go through this video without having some kind of Pink Floyd in it. I have probably somewhere close to 50 Pink Floyd albums, and this is definitely one of my favorites. It's definitely in my top 4 or 5. And this is, I only have 4 copies of it, actually. It's the second most Pink Floyd albums or copies I own of any one album. I think first is definitely Dark Side of the Moon. I think I've got 6 or 7 copies of that, and they're, for the most part, they're all different pressings. But that's The Wall. It's a fantastic album. I didn't necessarily plan on having 4 copies of it. It just kind of happened that way. I was looking for an original pressing. So this is my original US pressing I've got of it. And then I think this was the first copy I bought. This is actually an original Canadian pressing of it. And actually, no, this was the second copy I bought. Because I couldn't find a US pressing, so I settled for the Canadian pressing. This one was actually the first one I bought. I thought this was an original US pressing, and it actually ended up being an 82 pressing, which just sounds absolutely fantastic. I think this actually sounds better than the original US or Canadian pressing. Just a fantastic copy. Looks like it's never been played before. And then I think the best sounding overall, this is the 2016 remastered. If you have an opportunity to buy, or if you're a Pink Floyd fan, or you want to get into Pink Floyd, and you have the opportunity to buy the 2016 remasters, I think that a couple of them were done in 2017 also. But I think they're some of the best pressings of Pink Floyd. They did an absolutely beautiful job remastering these, and they're just great overall albums. Well, that's all I got for you today, guys. Thanks for checking the show out. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you click on the link below and go check out our Facebook group. If you want, drop a comment down below also, and let me know what you guys think about owning multiple versions of albums. If you guys do, I know there's a lot of guys out there that kind of stay away from having multiple copies. But let me know what you guys think. I'm always interested to read the comments and see what's going on. But if you enjoyed the episode, make sure you give me the old thumbs up, hit that subscribe button down below. And that's all I got. Until next time, keep on spinning. Peace.